All right. So GitHub Copilot is the professional tool that real programmers primarily want and use, in my experience. So you have to have a GitHub account and you have to join GitHub Education. And as we were just looking at earlier, when you join GitHub Education, it is necessary that your college has joined it. So some representative from your college may have been there. And anyway, I'm not going to bother with it, but it depends. You'll eventually have to authenticate with an EDU email account matching your college. And then once you're in, then you can add the extension, the GitHub Copilot. First, you turn on GitHub Copilot here, and then you put it in Visual Studio Code, which is a free product. It's not the full Visual Studio application, which is designed to write Windows code. It's this Visual Studio Code, which is a free product that runs on many operating systems. And you add an extension. The extensions are down here. You'll get this GitHub Copilot extension, which will have your GitHub login. And now you can write code. And so if I go and make a new file, and I want to make a Python file, all right, now I can ask it to do something. So if I define a function called isPrime of n, colon, it will, even though I spelled prime wrong, it figured out what I meant, which is nice, but I'm going to spell it right just to make me happier. And now it offers to write the whole thing for me. And it writes a algorithm. I can press tab to accept it. This is the simple algorithm. It's just going to try every number from 2 up to the square root and divide by it, but it will find prime numbers. So this is the one way to write code. Now, another way to do it, of course, which a lot of people do, is just use one of these raw foundation models, like here. You can generate your Python code with Bard, which is now called Gemini, but Bard will redirect to it. So if I go here and I just say write Python to find all the prime numbers, numbers below 200, say. All right. It will generate code. And let's see how it does. It's going to do the same thing. It's going to try all the numbers up to the square root of your number, and then it's false and return primes. All right. Now, this looks pretty good. Now, it should have an option to send this to a live engine. Double check response. That's interesting. I don't want to report a legal issue. Let's see what double check does. Searching on Google, evaluating Gemini statements, check completed. That's interesting. This is a new feature, and I've never tried it, where it double checks it. Now, it used to have a way to export it to Colab, and here it is. So send it to Colab. Though it does not seem to work. It seems to vanish when I try to click on it, probably because I'm not logged in. Let's see. No, I am logged in. So it looks like there are some bugs here. In various versions, there has been an export to Colab somewhere, but this one seems to be strangely blocked. But anyway, let's try testing it in Colab. This is what I had to do before they had the export to Colab function, and it looks like the export to Colab function is broken, so I still have to do it this way. I can copy and paste the code into there, and they do have a copy button. Let's see if that works. And a paste button. All right, let's see if it works. It looks pretty good. In the past, I've found that these general foundation models don't work too well. There it is, giving me answers. They look pretty good. All right. Not immediately wrong. All right. And so you can solve various puzzles here. And I've given you a bunch of Python puzzles that I use to train people in things here. So for example, let's try port scanning. here's start code. So I'm going to say, see if I can describe this to GitHub Copilot. Let's see how well it can write that function. So another way to use it is to just put a comment in your code. So I'm going to delete this. I'm going to say a comment connect to a server on port 22 and print the response. Print the banner. Good. It guessed the word banner. That's good. Let's see if it can do that. I press enter and here it goes. Import socket. Yes. Okay. For some reason, it's giving me line by line here. Import sys. And do I have to click this magic thing? Ask Copilot. No. It's not getting too far on me. Let's just try connect to a server on port 22 and see if it can figure that out. I just keep typing tab and enter. It keeps doing things. Okay, get machine name. I just keep. Okay. All right. Let's see how well it did here. Get local machine name port 22, S-Connect host port. This looks quite good. Now, in this case, I want to just use a different host name, which I didn't tell it, but that's pretty simple. So I'll change the host to this. All right. Now I think it'll work. Let's run this, which is here. And I guess I have to save it somewhere first.
Sam, you forgot the closing of the string.
I did not understand that.
The string, you have it where it's open and you forgot to do double quotes.
Oh, why, thank you. I'm missing a double quote. You're right. I wonder if it will fix that. Here's something here. If I press tab, will it figure that out? It did figure it out. Very interesting. All right. Nope, it just suggested it, but somehow I didn't figure out how to make it accept it. Good. So let's try running this and see how it looks. It's running. Unterminated string literal. Okay. Now it's running, but it did not print the banner. Oh, that's interesting. This is a mistake students often make. It got the banner and put it in the message, but it didn't print the message. So if I say print message, print the message. There. Now it'll add it. Okay. Now it's in there. This should work. And there it is. It prints the banner. So that's pretty good. Now there are some challenges down here where you have to scan through a whole series of ports. And I think if you describe it well enough, it'll work here. So let me just start with a new, well, let's see now. Okay, let's make a function. Well, I mean, now there's another way to use this. You can press logo I. There, now I can ask it for something. Scan ports 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, ... 10,000, and print all the banners. Let's see if it can do this. You should be able to ask it a question, and then it will generate the whole thing. Here we go. Scan ports, accept, scan ports from 1,000 to 10. This looks really good. I'm going to accept it. And there it is. It wrote the whole thing. Let's just run it and see if it works. Wow, it even set the timeout and everything. Oh, it still never told it the name of my target. It's trying to do localhost, so I am going to have to fill that in. I could have probably specified that in my specification, but I didn't. So I can paste that in here, and that should be the only change required. And no such file or directory, is that right? Frameworks, can't open file. Oh, I think I have to save it first. So it's file save. Failed to save, read-only file system. All right, something's wrong here. Let's find out how to save it. File save as, perhaps? Yeah, save as. Now I can choose a folder it can write in. Okay, so it went somewhere foolish. So let's go to, say, documents and make a folder, Python demo. All right, that's going to make a folder. And now in here, I'll call this scan2.py. Put an N in scan would be nice. All right, there, save that. And now it's saved somewhere. Now I think I can run it. And there it goes. But it's not skipping by thousands. It's skipping by ones. So it failed to understand that part of my instructions. When I said go 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, it got this wrong. So I have to know to add that. This is what I often find. It doesn't really get it 100% right. It gets a sort of rough approximation to what you want. Scan takes 2 positional arguments, but 3 were given. Ah, okay. I'll have to add that here too. Step, and then here. So this is what we were saying in the discussion earlier. This will help you program, but you do need to know how to program. And there you are. Now it works. It scans those ports and finds the hidden service. So that shows how nice it is here. Now, I wonder what would happen if we tried to do that with the generic foundation model here. Let's ask another question. Oh, that's here, Gemini. So write Python code. Let's see if I still have the question I asked before, but if I do logo I, no, it doesn't show my old question. I might be able to get it. Let's write Python code to scan the ports 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, ... 10,000 on the server. Let's put in the server this time and print all the banners. Let's see how well this model can do that. Okay. Okay, scans a port. They set the timeout. It connects. Hostname port. Okay. Prints the banner. And here it is. Again, it did not figure out that it should do it by 10,000s, but it's not too bad. Let's copy that. Put it in here. Get rid of this. Paste it in. And again, I'm going to have to put the step here of 1,000. And let's see how that runs. It works very much the same. So that's nice. Anyway, so I think this tool is more professional, but maybe it's just a guess on my part. One coder I heard said that they're all very similar, all these different ways of doing it. But anyway, there's a series of Python challenges here, and you can see how much these AI things help you. And I think you'll find that you still have to understand Python pretty well. Now, I've got a phone call. I wonder if this is a student. Hello?